Mario Party 6 is a great game, and one of the things that makes a Mario Party great would have to be its minigames. So, out of 82 minigames, which one contributes to Mario Party 6's greatness? Not Pitfall. I don't really expect a luck minigame to be very high, but I mean, I like ones like Day at the Races, or that one where you pick a vehicle in Mario Party 5, but the reason this is the worst minigame of Mario Party 6, probably the worst that they've ever made, is because it's just boring to look at. This is a duel minigame. Could you imagine losing your start to this? You and your opponent are in a dark garage, and you need to pick one of 3 ropes, so that one of the ropes may help you land on a platform that's right in front of you. So why can't you just pick the rope that helps you get to the platform that you're literally looking at right in front of you? Well, obviously because the camera isn't catching the platform. I think aesthetics are the biggest strength of a luck minigame, and considering this game looks so boring, there's not even really gameplay to salvage it. This is just the worst minigame they've ever made. I have no idea what they were thinking. I thought Trick or Treat had the same problem. It looks nicer, but now instead of picking 3 options, you have 4. I seriously don't know how to win this one. I think you have to watch the blinking, but I don't like playing this one. This is another bad. Seer Terror, I don't even think I would consider a minigame. I think this is just more of like a tchotchke you would get in like a WarioWare game or something. This is a game where you pick one of 4 ropes and something random happens and Bowser decides your fortune, I guess. It's not even a minigame, and it's better than both the ones I've mentioned earlier. I think Fruit Talktail is broken. You literally can't win this minigame. You call a fruit and then a platform falls based on the fruit that you've called, but it doesn't matter because the platforms never change every time they go down. So the computer or the player has to stay in one specific spot the entire time and they'll never lose. Yeah, not good. At the very least, the microphone support in Mario Party 6 isn't as egregiously forced as in Mario Party 7. Though, these mic games, I only really like 2 of them. Light Breeze. It's your typical button masher, particularly an alternating button masher where you pick between one button and the other as fast as possible. You know, as always, I'm not a huge fan of button mashers, but why did it have to be L and R? Like, it's just so hard to press this as fast as possible. Popstar, another button masher, but it's slightly better than Light Breeze. Word Herd. It feels satisfying to move around a bunch of Goombas, but it's not a very functional minigame. I lose all the time. Bowser and Donkey Kong each get 3 minigames. This is one of Donkey Kong's 3 minigames being Pure Factor. When you pick your path to try and get the most bananas, it's not really going to matter because the other computer players can just pick a barrel to mess you up. So this basically comes across as a luck minigame. You could strategically pick anything, but it won't matter. So this is kind of boring to go through. I'm not into Pure Factor. Same as lame is lame. Treasure Trawler seems like a decent idea for a minigame. It's just the way it controls makes me not like it. You move around the water feeling for a rumble, and then when you feel a rumble, you press the button at that time to pick up a treasure, or a bomb possibly. But I just don't like the way it feels. There's another minigame coming up that does this concept kind of better. Does anyone else agree that Crate and Peril kind of looks a little funny? Just the way that your guy is moving the box around is just... The fact it's 1-to-1 with your controller, that's kind of silly. This minigame is too easy. Like, I find myself never losing, no matter if I'm the 1 player or one of the 3. Talkie Walkie, another minigame where you use the microphone, or controller in this case, since I didn't have a mic, to move forward, backward, left, or right, and as fast as possible to get to the other side before the opponents get you. This doesn't matter because I just mashed the forward button immediately. Clean Team is frustrating. It's not like you'll never win this minigame. However, the computers that you get in this game aren't very helpful. In general, just look at the obstacles in this game. They're so contrived. Why do the buckets have to block your way? Why does the computer take so long to finally get to the part you need to clean? This is another minigame that's just ruined by its poor aesthetic. I understand what Stage Fright was going for, but I kind of feel like it's just too easy. Whether you're the 1 or the 3, I win every time. It's actually not that bad though, but like, I'm just not into it. Money Belt, an easy way to make 10 coins, or 19 coins. For some reason I never get 20, I don't know what that's about. Yeah, I kind of wish this minigame was better designed. The biggest problem with Cashapult is more so just the fact that, okay, so when you set the computers in Mario Party 6 to brutal, I don't think they mean the computer is as difficult as possible. I think the game just becomes as difficult as possible, to the point where they make your partners incompetent. Yeah, that's interesting. Trap Ease Artist. Let's hope that those Goombas that are roaming around just so happen to walk underneath your cage, or aren't caught first by the computers or other players. Not fun. I'm not into this. Okay, let's assume that the computers that are on your side that are at brutal difficulty would actually be helpful and not just interrupting your ability to break the boulders the entire time. I think I still wouldn't like Rocky Road because once the opponent's car is ahead of you, you've basically lost at that point, so you might as well just wait for the minigame to end. Mole It is a completely fine concept for a minigame, it's just the way they executed it was lame, because how you move is just very sluggish and unresponsive, and the CPU is very much unhelpful. The day and night versions of it don't really help, it doesn't matter which one you're playing, they're both like very mediocre. I don't like this one. More so because of wasted potential. This could have been good. I would rather play Something's a Mist instead of Treasure Trawler. I'm still not too into this one, but I think I'll give it a passing grade of 6, being the first one to get that so far. I do like that the trees kind of give you a hint of where to go, but I'm not too good at this one. It's fine. I know I was just complaining earlier about the minigames being so easy that they're boring, but I actually like Memory Lane. Maybe it helps that this is a 4-player game, so you're going to see it more often than the other ones. The background certainly looks nice in this one, especially the bridge you cross. Not much else to say. This is a pretty quick minigame to finish. Usually when you have a button mashing minigame, you have to wonder why this has to be a button mashing minigame compared to any others. But for Black Hole Boogie, I think it makes a lot of sense. I can just imagine the tension where you just have to mash as fast as possible to not get sucked into the black hole. Once again, you can pretty much never win button mashing minigames against computers that are at brutal difficulty, but I do like this in the context of playing this against another player, so that's what I find interesting here. T-5. This functions well as a good minigame, but like, it just doesn't look like, it doesn't make sense visually. So you're ground pounding at the right time to be teleported to the next one to then get into the spaceship. Well, why don't they just swim over there? Up next is Strawberry Short Fuse, a minigame where you have to memorize where the strawberry shortcakes are and where the bombs are. Make sure you pick the strawberries. So, that's clever, it's nice. I'm having a little trouble with this one. I can usually only memorize 2, but this is a good memory game. Freeze Frame is a minigame where you have to take a picture of the Goombas, and if your picture has the most Goombas in it, then you win. Sometimes there's UFOs or Shy Guys, and they can give you more points, but my least favorite thing about this minigame would be something that's not really the game's fault. The resolution of the GameCube, of course, has aged, so this minigame can look kind of bad. When you take pictures and it doesn't recognize something even though you really took a picture of it, it's kind of annoying, but I do understand that it's not really the game's fault. Lunar Ticks is a minigame where you have to make sure that you land on a platform, but only when the clock is closest to 0 seconds. Whoever's the closest wins in this duel minigame. It is what it is. Completely fine. The concept of bodybuilder is cooler than the minigame itself. You're just pressing the button at the right time to build a robot. Nothing special. The computer could stand to press the button faster. The computer players are so behind your skill level, part of me considers that they shouldn't have even had 2v2s in this game in the first place. This is Garden Grab. This is a minigame that's structured in a pretty clever way, where you have to press all the buttons in the right order, and then for the final button, you just have to mash it a bunch. Then, you'll be the first to pluck out the carrot. For Banana Shake, you have to shake the tree and then try and catch all the bananas. But if it's a hammer, move out of the way by pressing a different button. How this one controls, I'm just not into. It's actually a fine minigame, there's nothing wrong with it, but I personally just don't have a lot of fun playing it. Seeing a reference to Super Mario Sunshine in the background is nice. Cash Flow controls pretty rough, but I think it's a fine minigame. Odd Card Out is your standard spot the difference minigame, and something I like about this one is the fact that B, A, and the X button are basically what you select instead of just using a cursor to pick them, which would probably make this minigame more annoying. So it's designed very well. Sunday Drivers. Press the right button at the right time, and if you press the wrong one, then there's an annoying delay. Gondola Glide. I think it's pretty interesting that they just made this entire background, but besides that, it's just a button masher. Press the right button at the right time. Light Up My Night. It's very well made and balanced. I think lighting all the candles in this one is very satisfying. I feel like I should be better at Ray of Fright than I am, but I don't know, I'm not very good at this one. And it's not that interesting in my opinion. You have to shoot a laser, and then that laser will ricochet off the walls, and whatever player touches the laser is out. That is the concept, yes. I don't know why, but for some reason this one's just not interesting. It should be though. Ozone is fun. You have to memorize where the O's are. If you land on any X's, then you'll get penalties. I like this one. Control Shtick. This is a little awkward to control considering that the C-stick on the GameCube controller is much smaller than the analog stick, but I do like this one, albeit I can't really win against the computers here. I appreciate that in Stamp by Me, you don't have to perfectly align the stamp with the paper. If that were the case, I think this would be a lot less fun to play. Smash Dance used to be very frustrating, but I get it now. You're supposed to ground pound anybody trying to smash a tile so that you can get more of an advantage of smashing more tiles. It's actually kind of clever, I like that. Snow World, another button masher, but if you know what you're doing, you can pull off a really cool trick. I don't think I can though. Slot Trot. Use the A or B button to turn a wheel to match the picture shown. I don't know why, but for some reason the computers are actually helpful in this one. Aster Road Rage. because I guess if they said asteroid instead of asteroid, it would probably mean something else. This minigame's fun. I like games where you're trying to dodge obstacles. Those are always good to play. And this one is actually structured pretty well for being a duel minigame. It's nice. Pixel perfect. The most difficult thing about this minigame is how the CPU pretty much just ruins it for you. If this was a 4-player minigame, this would just be one of those minigames that are so easy that they're boring. Bonanza. Herd as many boos as you can into your designated box. Not much to say about this one, it's fine, but something I want to note. Most of the minigames in Mario Party 6 are very technical. While they may not be the best minigames in a Mario Party game, I appreciate that they're well balanced, they're very fair. I really wouldn't want to play unfair ones, so I actually do appreciate this game's minigame selection. Burn style. This one's fun to play. I like jumping over the giant skewer, and the speed and dynamic of this minigame, it's very challenging. This is good. Balldozer's alright. It's pretty satisfying to crush those wooden stumps. Playing this one as Waluigi because, you know. Sink or Swim is a fine game, albeit a little too easy. It's weird. I feel like its day and night versions of this level should actually be like more different than they are, but I guess not. The controls are purposely messed up in this minigame so you can try and escape the dungeon before you get burned by statues. Though it's so easy to remember the placement of where the analog stick will lead that you might as well just not be dizzy. Dusk Till Dawn. When you're 1 with the 3, who knows, maybe they're helpful this time. Though, I honestly like this one more picturing like if you were playing this with real people. This would be a lot more fun in that context, but by yourself, it's like, it tries. Note to self is pretty chaotic. It can be kind of hard to get the notes that you need, and this one's structured very well. Gameplay wise, I understand this looks very chaotic. Full Tilt, that was a fun race. Trying to jump a certain way to get shortcuts is also cool. I like how in Granite Getaway, whatever players are still around, then they'll win. The same thing with Blooper Scooper, another minigame about evading danger. They're both very fun games to play. I win Motown the same way that I win a turf war in Splatoon. You guys do realize you can cover your own side, right? Tally Me Banana is my favorite Donkey Kong minigame in this game. When all the other players are out, you still have a chance to smash all the barrels that are left. I like it. I just really like the minigames where you're just freely able to roam, like Tricky Tires. It controls kind of like Katamari Damacy, how you use both the analog and the C-stick to turn. Cog Jog's a really fun minigame. You have to make sure you don't fall down the pit while you go through a bunch of machinery. Pit Boss is cool, but Dark and Crispy is the best Bowser minigame. It's just really cool. Circuits Maximus. Try to get to the end while dodging a lot of amps. Getting hit by an amp once and then letting the invincibility frames help you go through the race kind of helps sometimes. Surge and Destroy. Pretty easy, honestly, to a boring extent. Another one of these where it's ranked high because I do like how it controls, but I'm really not interested in this one. Though, I don't think it's bad. Pick a number from 1 through 9, and Shoot Your Mouth Off is where you shoot a bunch of weapons at your opponents. I like commanding the Shy Guys, and in general, this is one of the better mic minigames, even if I don't have a mic. Insectoride is kind of like that one minigame from Mario Party 5, except you actually get to control the vehicles this time. They all control differently, but I usually try to pick the most efficient one. Not that I win at this one. It's a good minigame though. The minigame Verbal Assault is pretty cool. It makes you feel like the final boss of a video game. I'm a little overpowered, you know, I've never lost to this minigame as the one, but yeah, I do like playing this one. With this much winning against the computers, maybe they designed it this way to make up for how bad the computers were. Nah, I would rather computers just be good. Dunk Bros. I was not expecting a sports game to actually be this good. I actually have a lot of fun playing this one. It's pretty fun. I'm still not that into sports games though. Usually a Mario Party game will include a puzzle game, and this one's really solid. I like Blockstar. Moving around the blocks so fast is really satisfying, and I like that there's a 2-player mode here. Lab Brats. Escape Professor Egad's laboratory as fast as possible, while also saving a bunch of Mario enemies. It's pretty fun getting the fastest time. I like this one. Depending on how high your score was, you'll get a different rank, and it's nice that they gave a name to all of them. The computer opponents can get quite tenacious in the minigame Daft Rafts. You'll just be trying to jump to the next raft and then the computer will get in your way, causing you to fall off and lose. This is another minigame where you get to move around freely, but specifically you're trying to get to the final raft at the end, and whoever else lands on it, they'll win. It's always good to play this one. This and Lab Rats are the first ones to get a 7 out of 10, and from here on out, everything is a 7. The minigame Throw Me a Bone is where you throw a bone and then a chain chomp follows it, but you have to make sure not to hit any pillars or rocks. You can't directly aim where you throw. The reticle moves in sort of a metronome fashion, and you have to time it right. Chain chomps are cool, and so is this minigame. What Goes Up is really cool. I love this minigame. Like, you have to go up into the sky as far as possible, and the physics and the controls just feel really good. The nighttime version of this minigame offers a completely different gameplay style where you have to fall as fast as possible, while avoiding everything. And when you're falling, unlike going up where there's no limit, you actually do get to reach the bottom. Really well made minigame, I really like this one. Hyper Sniper. It may get a 7 compared to me giving Majora's Mask an 8 out of 10, but Hyper Sniper has better shooting than Majora's Mask. Lift Leapers feels a little wonky, but I actually really like this one. You go as fast as possible, you gotta dodge obstacles, you gotta plan how you jump and make sure you jump at the right time and the right place. It's really good. Conveyor Bolt is pretty crazy. It's like 4 minigames in one, depending on if you play day, night, or if you're a 1 or one of the 3. I'd say that's the most interesting part of this minigame because it's fine. It's just the standard minigame where you gotta try and get the opponent. Booed off the stage. Really fun. I like avoiding the boos. I like how you can kind of shove your opponent if you know what you're doing and then they can lose. Dodging obstacles is really cool. Snow Brawl isn't just awesome because it's a snowball fight, those in general are always awesome, but any of your teammates get hit by a snowball, become frozen solid, and then you can use them as a shield. Cannonball Fun. This is another one of those games where I can see the quality, but I'm just not too into it. Either that or I'm just not good at it. It's really good though. Wrestling Rapids. This is just a fighting game. The game tends to be over before you can take in all the vistas or see all the obstacles that engage with the raft, but it's really intense. I really like this one. Literal battle minigame. I think how Jump the Gun was made was really clever. Your teammate jumps onto the bullet bills that you shot onto the target to get to the end before the other team. Catch You Letter is excellent. Just the fact that you don't need to press any buttons in order to pick up letters and give them to the Shy Guy mailman is really cool. You can't really tell the difference at this stage between day and night. Of course, there's no gameplay changes, but yeah, the intensity of how you pick up letters, the one love letter that falls from the sky that gives you more points. It's understandable how Catch You Letter was remade twice, but it's kind of confusing why this next one didn't. Number 1, Pokey Punch-Out. Usually, a lot of what I could decide as my favorite thing in something would be if it were consistently good. This is a minigame that shows that it has every element working in its favor. It doesn't have too much of a difference between day and night, but the computers are not annoying, the gameplay is interesting, it's varied, it's fun, you can move around, and the goal is cool. And I like how when you punch the pokey heads, you get the most points. It's not really too easy for me to understand why out of all the minigames they could remake, frankly, a lot of ones that I don't really like, why didn't this one ever get remade? It's so awesome, and it's the best minigame of Mario Party 6. Oh, wait. Pokies are notorious in the Mario series for being enemies that you can't really defeat without using an item of some kind. You can't really directly touch them or else you'll get damaged. They shouldn't be getting a score at all. They should be hindered from their ability to do this, except for Yoshi. Huh. So that's why this minigame didn't get remade.